Las Vegas Sayadaw animals or hell beings. It's because they are yoked to these worlds, these four kinds of yogas yoke beings to the round of existence. That's why yoga is translated as yoke or bond. The realities for these four yogas as the same as for asava and oga. Kama yoga is lobha, bhava yoga is lobha, ditthi yoga is ditthi, and avijja yoga is moha. Ganthā. Next, let's look at the four ganthas. These are different from yoga. Ganthā means bind or tie. These are the four bodily ties. What do they tie or bind? They bind the mind with the body, or they bind the present body with the bodies of future existences. It's because of these ganthas that we have mind and body when we are reborn again. They bind mind and body together, and they bind this present body and future bodies in future existences. After we die in this present life, we have to be reborn again, right? We take another body in another existence. So these four bodily ties combine this present life and the future life. 1. Abhijja Kaya Ganthā. This is covetousness. Ganthā means bind or tie. Kaya, here, doesn't mean body. In this context, it means group. It refers to grouping the mental and the physical. Kaya means grouping of mind and matter. What's abhijja? It is the intention to possess another person's property unlawfully. If we see someone's property and want to take it unlawfully, it's called abhijja. It's a mental action. Its reality is lobha cetasika. 2. Vyapada Kaya Ganthā. Vyapada is also a mental action. It's ill will. That's what vya means. It intends to bring about the death or destruction of a person. Perhaps you want someone to die or lose their business. This is ill will. It's one kind of Ganthā. 3. Silabata Paramasa Kaya Ganthā. Here, silabata refers to rites and ceremonies, or rites and rituals. Paramasa means adherence. So the term means adherence to rites and 24 akusala sangaha ceremonies. Although this is how we usually see it translated into English, the meaning is actually deeper than that. Let me give you an example of silabata. In the time of the Buddha, there were people who practiced as if they were a dog or a cow. They believed that if they practiced like a dog or a cow, they could purify their mind. And they thought that after death they would then go to heaven, so they practiced in this way. These people wouldn't wear clothes, they'd go around naked. And when they went somewhere, they'd walk about on 4 legs. When they saw people, they'd greet them like a dog or a cow might. These people felt that practicing in this way would make them pure and be liberated, and therefore gain nibbana. But this is wrong view. It's one kind of ditthi. We can call this bovine morality. Practicing like a cow. Practicing like a dog is called canine morality. It is silabata paramasa kaya ganthā. This sort of practice is not found in Buddhism. There's a story about silabata paramasa kaya ganthā from the time of the Buddha that I'd like to share with you. There were these 2 men. They practiced bovine and canine moralities for a long time. They did this because they thought they would become pure and be liberated by this practice. When the 2 men saw the Buddha, they asked him questions. They told him that they practiced in this way for many years, and then asked, "After we die, what will happen to us? Can we go to heaven?" The Buddha replied, "Don't ask me about that." The men repeated their question to the Buddha, who again declined to answer. After the men asked a 3rd time, the Buddha said, "I asked you to stop asking me these questions. I don't want to answer you. But since you asked me 3 times, I have to answer you." He then explained, "Those who practice bovine conduct or dog conduct, after death will be reborn as a cow or a dog. If you think that practicing this way will lead you to purify your mind so that you can be reborn in heaven, after death you will instead be reborn in hell, because this is wrong view." The 2 men started to cry. They cried because they realized that they'd practiced this way because they thought that it was the best way to purify their mind and to be liberated. But the Buddha had explained that it was not. In fact, it was the opposite of how they should have been thinking. 25. Las Vegas Sayadaw. The older of the two men became a Buddhist and changed his views to align with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. He requested the Buddha ordain him as a monk. Once he was a monk, he practiced meditation and gained enlightenment. Of the two men, this man, the one who practiced like a dog but then ordained as a monk, attained enlightenment, but the other man did not. Q. To me, that sounds like people nowadays who think that in order to practice spirituality, you have to be natural. To them, this means that they don't think and don't study. Instead, they just react spontaneously to everything that happens. This sounds to me like a rather animal-like approach to spirituality. This is one kind of Silabhata Paramasa. Today in India, there are still people who practice in this way. They don't wear clothes, going about, trying to be natural. When Tihe eat, they put the food in their palm and lap it up. There are people who have high respect for these practitioners. They think they're not attached to anything. But the Buddha said this is Silabhata Paramasa, or wrong view. The reality is Ditti. 4. Idam Sakabhinivesa Kaya Ganthā. This is also a kind of wrong view, or dogmatic belief. Although these people practice incorrectly, they believe that their way alone is the truth. They believe that the way of others is not true or correct. This is also one kind of Ditti. If we still have wrong view, we cannot gain enlightenment in this life. This is why the Buddha said that we need to study, or pariyati, but we also need to practice, or patipatti. And we also need pativeda. In Buddhism, we have what is called pariyati sasana. This is studying or learning. We also have patipatti sasana, or practicing. And we have pativeda sasana, or realization. If we study but don't practice, there will be no realization. If we practice but don't study or know the correct way, we will not get realization. So we need both studying and practicing in order to clear our views. 26.